everyone's kind of fixated on this whole All-Star vote process that's going on right now. And I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. So a lot of people are saying Embiid is getting the shaft in the All-Star voting right now. Because right now he would come off the bench. I Bleav he's like of the forwards, because right now they don't even have a center anymore. It's just they have a front court and back court, and Embiid is the fourth highest vote getter of the forwards in the front court. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you like the way they're doing the vote counting this year, where they're kind of eliminating the center position as a whole and just making it a front court and back court thing?
It's been like that for a couple of years, though, right?
Has it? I thought that was a new thing this year.
New this year. Like, I don't know, but I'm look, man. This All-Star voting, there's always been some issues. You know, back from when I played, when Yao Ming was starting over Shaq. You know, it's people kind of went to this voting thing because centers that they didn't think should be starters were starting. That's why they kind of went to this kind of voting. Maybe Gobert or maybe before Gobert or something. It was centers were getting voted in, and people were like, why is he starting in the All-Star game? Well, he's a center. So they went to this. Now we're complaining that this isn't working because the center's not starting.
Too reactionary.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I mean, now we have a game where you got two centers that everyone know are starting All-Star team, no matter how it's voted rather. We all know that Joker and Joel are starting All-Star players. Well, a few years back, you didn't have that. You had that year after year after year where people were like, no center should be starting. That's how this vote came about. Mm-hmm. My question is, like with Boston, I thought Tatum was a guard. But they have Tatum as the forward and Brown as the guard, which I thought was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. 2012, 2013 was the first year they did it.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's been a while. It's been a long time since they did it. But that's why they did it. Just look like
it just didn't affect the second top three player in the NBA until
all
now.
Those top players, outside of like Shaq, all those top players that were coming into their own, that were kind of still being all-stars, KG, Dirk, Tim, like towards the end they were all towards the end of their career, but they were all forwards.
Yeah.
So who was the center during that time that was getting voted in? I'm not even sure. Maybe DeMarcus Cousins, when he was rolling, I'm not even sure if that was that early.
12 and 13, I saw that the first year it happened, it affected Dwight Howard and Andrew Bynum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so see, now you have the top two MVP vote getters the past 2 years as the center now. So now it's like it's not deep, but
yeah,
it's a bit. It's
an issue. It's an issue because of those two guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they'll do anything about it unless maybe Joker don't get in too.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to see him on the bench.
I really don't. The way that the game is played now, I really don't think they'll change it back because I think they like the whole front court, back court. But it's just.
Are they not doing the draft this year between two players again?
Well, the draft is after this All-Stars are established.
Yeah,
that's right. But they can choose anyone that's been picked, right?
Yeah, they draft the All-Stars.
So Embiid could go first overall.
And he won't start.
But he still won't start?
No, They draft starters, and then they draft reserve.
That's right. Okay, God. I mean, it's more changes in my fantasy football league every year, man. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Embiid's still going to play like top 5 minutes in this game, which is funny. So, but yeah, whatever.
Well, sorry,
a lot of the guys will be fighting to play minimum minutes. So.
Yeah,
that's true, and that's true. I think he enjoys it though. He likes being out there.
Giannis will play a lot and play hard.
Yeah,
what's that?
I said Giannis will play a lot and play hard in All-Star games.
Yeah, he will. Yep. Yeah. Last night I got pissed off because Embiid dove for that ball with like a minute and a half left. What the hell? I mean, what are you doing?
He could have hurt him and whoever the other player was.
Yeah. That was shish, man.
Dangerous. I did read. I think it was at Liberty Ballers. It was one of the Sixers blogs. They were talking about how maybe Sixers fans were looking at it in a different way because if Embiid starts in the All-Star game, he's going to play more minutes in the All-Star game naturally. But
Maybe
not necessarily. I mean, it's really up to the coach. Like if you tell the coach, I'm not really trying to roll like that, he won't play you a lot. I mean, you'll just start, but they can take you out very quick and never put you back in.
Like, but now he's going to want to prove. Now he's going to want to prove something.
Yeah, like that. I don't see a guy saying, "Hey, pull me back on minutes," and then the coach saying, "Whatever, I'm gonna play you." Like,
yeah. And Embiid's the type to say, "Put me in. I'm gonna show him who the starter is."
Yeah, I think it is more of him getting to the moment and getting to the game, and now he's into the game and be like, "Yo, put me back in. I want to play," more than the coach just doing it on his own. If a guy says, "No, I'm good."
It also depends on how much they want to win because you want to play.
Yeah, I mean, with the new rules and the new scoring, if it's a close game, you'll see more of those guys. You'll know who they want to play and who's playing well, and they've kind of communicated that. They'll figure it out.
Yeah. Interesting. It's funny that's been a rule for what, almost 10 years now. It's 10 years, and I didn't know about the rule, but now it's coming close to home. So I know the rule now
because it didn't affect you.
No, never affected us till now, which is funny.
Well, if you think about it, a good part of that 2012 to now, we were in that process era. So like I didn't even give a crap about the voting.
No.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But if you just think about it, like it wasn't any centers that were being really considered. That's why it wasn't really an issue until now.
Yep, yeah. Pretty much Dwight. That's pretty much it for the teens, for the 2000 teens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dwight. I mean, Gobert, late teens, around the same time as Embiid.
Yeah, but Gobert was a guy that a lot of people said shouldn't be a starter.
Yeah.
So Dwight was maybe at that time where, he's a starter. But outside, that's why I said DeMarcus Cousins, I don't really know what he was.
Oh, that's true, too. That's a good one.
If he was considered a center or a forward, because he was playing really well, especially before he got injured. So
I read this Stat Muse tweet, and soon after, I think everyone was posting Embiids stats and highlights saying, "Oh, this guy's not going to start." It was a 34-10 this season, 53.4 field goal percentage, first in points per game plus rebounds per game, first in 50-10 games, highest scoring season by a center since 1975. Pretty solid.
So I mean, I look at it differently, man. We've had, since I even did television, we've always had these conversations. People call them debates. I just call them conversations about the All-Star game. I've always took the stance of being an All-Star, winning should matter. And like, to me, and all of these awards and everything you do, winning matters. When you go MVP, winning matters. All defense, winning matters. Like, all that stuff, winning matters. But when you get to All-Star, they say winning shouldn't matter.
It turns into a popularity contest. That's why.
Yeah. So I'm just saying. So if the winning doesn't matter, then we shouldn't be surprised when guys don't start.
I think it's funny how defense seems to go, because my biggest argument with whenever it becomes an MVP conversation with Jokic and Embiid is
all the offensive stats.
Yeah, Embiid is the top defensive player on a team that's currently top 5, 10 in defense. So, I mean, how do you not?
Because defense, you can't just
attribute to one guy.
You can attribute to one guy if it's Dikembe Mutombo
or Gobert.
You know what I'm saying? Or, you know what I'm saying? They block shots, like a stat that people can look at and be like, hey, look where he's at compared to this guy, or look where he's at compared to the league. If Joel isn't really like that, he's not really blocking a lot of shots like that, and he's not really a high rebound guy, like high rebound guy. So sometimes rebounds are like looked at as defense almost when you have a high amount of rebounds, like Dwight Howard, for instance. Block shots, rebounds. Ben Wallace, block shots, rebounds.
Yep.
Dikembe, block shots and rebound. So they kind of still
go together.
Look at Joel as a great center, but an offensive center.
Mm.
And Joker's a great center, offensive center that's better offensively. So defense doesn't really come in, even though we can look at it and feel it and know it, but it's no stat. It's no stat that they can follow. Because we gotta realize, Teja, most of these people that are doing these votes aren't watching the Sixers like you are.
Yeah.
So they gotta go and they gotta look and let me find this paper and
they're all about these. They're all about stat analytics, though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but they're not looking at analytics defensively.
Yeah.
They look at analytics for Jokic's offense.
Yes, they do. For individuals offensively, they do, but individually defense, they look team and collectively. They're not going to. And you also got to understand that if they look for that, then they're not going to look for it if they already feel that that's their guy. So why would they look for reasons to not confirm that Joker is their guy?
Yeah. There was a stat last year. I forgot exactly what it was.
Like they came out with an MVP vote and he's like number one. Like I'm like, huh? No, I understand what I'm saying, but it's like, and I love Joker. Like he get great numbers, but it doesn't feel like it. Just I don't know. I don't know if it don't. You get great numbers, but it don't feel like Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Joel feels
he's not dominant.
He feels closer to Shaq to me. Not saying that they are Shaq, but I'm just saying he feels like he gives me that, man, they can't do anything with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody that I talk to that's in the league, is coaching, they all say Joker's like that, but I don't feel it and see it when I watch him play. I just see
you don't feel
a very skilled, talented player, but it doesn't really necessarily feel like he dominates guys. Makes guys want to just quit and makes teams double him. And maybe because he spends so much time on the perimeter and on the ball, it's just different. Mm-hmm. It's different. It's very effective, but it's just different for me.
Yeah, he gives me more like if Russell Westbrook was a center vibes, and he gives me Shaq vibes. You know, like amazing.
Russell's going to be dominant. That's what I'm saying, because I already play and I already goes. Mm-hmm. He's more like a finesse player. You know what I'm saying? Like he's very skilled, but he's almost like a forward than a center. Like the way he plays. Even though he gets down on that post and he would put people in the basket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, he's a great player. I'm not. I don't want to have all the jokes.
I'm just saying, like, that's
coming after us on.
That's just kind of the vibe I get from him. That's just the vibe that I get. It's just like his numbers, but I still don't feel like he. And that's hard because it's hard to get those numbers. Like people could talk about it, but you ain't just walking on the court getting them now.
It's funny too. Josh Reynolds, a big Sixer guy on Twitter, he posted. He goes, "Show me when Jokic does this," and he showed the play from last night where Embiid sky out of nowhere and blocked that dunk from like almost behind, but he got in there. It was insane. And then someone posted their Jokic version of that, which was Jokic lumbering, falling backwards, and like barely tipping the ball and hitting the guy's arm in the process. And it was like CJ McCollum's like flip up. And then he just laughed. He said, "Laughing my ass off" underneath that like guy's pose. It's like that's your version of that. It's like, man, that's like a watered down like high school basketball play compared to what Embiid did.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's not who he is. Like that's not what.
No, of course not. Yeah, but people do try to argue that. Like, look at this defensive stat that.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Online. Like if you really into it, if you're a Joker guy and you feel that he's the best and he should be MVP, you should probably not be arguing defense.
Mm-hmm.
They do though, man.
Yeah, you just stick to what he does.
Advanced stat: when guys dribble 17 times in the third quarter, Jokic is a better defender on him. It's like, what? Like what? Shut up. Watch the game. You don't need to. Don't look at stats. You don't need to. When you watch Embiid switch on a guard. And he doesn't let him shoot because the guy can't shake loose.
I mean, at the end of the day, you go by in the playoffs, and you go look at teams when they play when the playoffs come, and and they start playing, or games that are really big, important towards the end of the year, and see how if teams avoid or involve those players defensively.
Mm-hmm.
Got to tell you.
Yeah.
Got to tell you how he's viewed.
Well, wasn't that
trying to get away? If they're trying to go away from involving that guy, there's a reason why. It's just like offensively, you want a guy that was, that like when I played, or other Thybulle guys, they want them to take the shots because they feel like that's their best chance to get a mess. It's a strategy. So it's the same on the other end. If you're pulling, that's what I'm saying. Is pay attention to see how he's being involved defensively when they play teams and when the games really, really matter, and they're playing the same team where you know what they do over and over again, like you do in the playoffs. That'll tell you a lot of how teams view guys defensively.
Yeah. What are you gonna say, Marcus?
No, I was just saying that the play that a lot of Sixer fans post when the Embiid and Jokic arguments happen online is the Game 6 in the playoffs 2 years ago, where the Nuggets subbed out. It was a pivotal defensive possession, and they subbed out Jokic during that.
Yeah.
So that tells you all you need to know about a guy.
That tells you enough.
Yep. And it killed them to do that. That was like we have to try this. We have to do it.
There's no switching in the world. You can't take out Joel winning time like that. Can't do it.
Yeah. It's just interesting too, because it's funny that Harden came to the Sixers, because Harden and Embiid I don't feel like they get their due, and there's a lot of double standards out there that people dog, because you look at Harden's stats, right? And someone, I think it was Bill Simmons on a show recently, went on and on about how Halliburton deserved to be, the all-star or starter, all this stuff, because he talked about him averaging 20 and 10 this season. And he's the only player to do that. And it's like, well, you totally forgot James. And every time Doncic has this crazy 40-point, 15 assists, 10 rebound game, and everyone's saying he's a one of a kind. Harden does that all the time. I mean, like,
it's all of these things that people have done has been done. I mean,
yeah, he does it nightly.
It's so when they do all these stats, just think, they do all these stats and they say it hadn't been done since. That means it's been done. So why aren't we talking about the guy that? So you say, like, almost all these stats that come out, the common name is Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
But y'all dismiss Wilt Chamberlain as the greatest to ever play.
Yep.
They say his stats, he wouldn't do that nowadays. Like, how do we know? All we know is it's been done.
Yeah.
So don't give me – that's what I'm saying. You can't give me stats talking about what a guy's doing, but then dismiss the guy that you say it hadn't been done since that guy.
He actually has better stats than Halliburton, which is
but it's not like all these guys they're bringing up all these guys are doing all these stats. I'm just saying a lot of these things that happen is one common name more than any other name. It's Wilt Chamberlain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like Wilt Chamberlain at this point is like a barometer of like perfection. It's like,
then you know what a lot of people say about Wilt?
God did this 40 years ago. But that's it.
You know the biggest knock on Wilt?
What?
Shooting?
He didn't win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So the goalposts be moving so much on all these stats, because now you fast forward to the LeBron and people that debate the LeBron and MJ. They say winning shouldn't matter. Or Jordan only won because of Pippen, which I'd never heard that argument in my life until, younger people start saying it.
They only did that as a counter because people said LeBron only won because of Wade. That's why.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like people that, I played against those guys when I was younger, and people that I know played their whole career against those guys, like that conversation, like, never came up. Like, I never heard anyone say that. Anyone ever say that until I was like a few years ago. But at the same time, we didn't talk about excuse me, a lot of stuff that they talk about right now.
Yeah, he played with another top 25 player. Cool. So did Stockton and Malone. They didn't win rings. So we can do that. We can do that a lot.
Yeah, Scottie was great, but you can't say MJ's success was because of Scottie. Like, just like you can't say Scottie's success was because of MJ. You know what I'm saying? It was success because of who they were.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halliburton. I mean, it was interesting. Some friends of mine, we got a little group text, and they were my older son, who's really into all of this stuff. We'll have him on one day.
Oh yeah.
He sent his list of who should make the All-Star. He's really pushing. He's like a guy that's like always want to pull for the guy that should make it, or almost that might not.
People are kind of overlooking.
He's pulling for that guy. So he's like, do I think Jalen Brunson will make it? And I said, you got a case? I said, I think if they finish in the top 6, I think he may get in. But there we go again. They're winning. So, yeah, he was also in there with us, like sent his list of players from the guard position who he thought would be considered to get in. And they asked me what I thought about the list. I was like, well, a lot of people think Halliburton should get in too. He said, oh, yeah, I forgot to mention him. So we don't know.
People love Halliburton. Halliburton's great. He's having a great year, but don't make it sound like he's a one of a kind.
No, but what I said was, when he said Jalen, I was like, would you take Jalen over James Harden? And he was like, oh. I just said, would you do that? And he was like, oh, I didn't even really think about that. Like, he's thinking that James is like a lock. I'm like, James is not a lock.
No, he's not. It's averaging 22, 7, and 11, and he's not a lock.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, his numbers is.
But the guy averaging 20 and 10 is a unicorn. But the guy averaging 22, 11, and 7 is not.
He's had so much success that he's compared against himself.
Yes.
Where, Halliburton's compared against himself too. But himself is showing improvement, where James is a decrease from what he's shown.
One's doing it for the first time. One's doing it for like the 18th time.
Yes.
So it's like, we've seen this before. That says James and his stats. He always has those. Who cares?
Yes. So that happens a lot. I mean, that happens to LeBron James. So
it happens in every sport. It happens in football too. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's unfortunate.
James is going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
I think he gets in. I just,
I think his biggest knock is games played, actually, because he doesn't qualify for a lot of those.
Halliburton is out now too. So, I mean,
technically he qualifies. Like, if you go to their names on ESPN, by each of Halliburton's stats, it says where he ranks. It doesn't even say that for Harden, because I don't think he qualifies for anything because of games played, which is maybe why Bill Simmons said those things. No one else is doing this, but it's like, okay, what? 4 more games when he plays, he'll be qualified. He will have done those.
He'll be qualified by the time they vote.
Probably, yeah.
Unless he doesn't play anymore. But I mean,
what's the percentage of games you need to qualify?
I'm not certain.
I'm not sure
or not, but I think I think that if it was a chance that he would make it, it would be a conversation. Like, you would hear about it. But I don't really know. I'm not certain. Has Joel missed more games than James?
That's interesting. Let me see.
I feel like he has.
Harden's played 26 games. Joel has played. He qualified, so I think he's played more.
Oh, wow.
26, 30. He's played 4 more games than him.
Damn.
So he qualified, then we know all he needs is 4 more games.
Yep. He'll hit that threshold soon.
Yep. I couldn't find what the minimum, I'm sure it's a percentage of games played, but I couldn't find it yet. So
I don't think it's as high as you think. I think
he's got to be close. If Joel qualifies and he's third and he's played 4 more games with him, then he's on the cusp,
Yeah, I think it's even more than half. If you're more than half, I think you can play.
Yeah.
But I mean, in past All-Star games, people that didn't even matter. I remember when Shaq was getting voted to the All-Star game when he was with Boston and Phoenix, Shaq, and that wasn't.
I mean, it was
Penny Hardaway was getting voted in when he hadn't played in like 2 years. All right,
yeah,
well,
you get voted in. You got voted in. You got voted in. I mean,
it didn't matter.
When I came in the league, it was the fans voted for the starters.
Mm.
That was it. It was no conversation, just fans.
Yeah.
And they eventually changed that. So I don't even know the voting process now. I don't even know who vote. I don't even know the percentages of votes. And all. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we actually had a conversation in our group message about who was going, which 3 guys were going to get in from the East. Because at the time, Joel was leading.
Mm-hmm.
And we all felt that Joel would probably be the odd man out.
Wow.
Too bad, man.
That's too bad. He has what, a couple more days until the voting's done. When's the voting over?
I'm not sure, but all I know is it's those 3 votes matter. That's why the forwards will always get more votes than the guards.
Yeah,
because it's 3 votes.
Yeah. Ends the 21st, so get your votes in, everybody.
Oh. Why are people already chalking it up as a loss as if he's not going to get into that 3?
Maybe because where it's trending.
Oh, yeah.
Starter. I mean, yeah. I don't. Like I said, I picked that he wouldn't get in. I picked it Giannis and KD and Tatum would. Once I found out Tatum was a forward,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought they would pass him.
When's All-Star Weekend? Because
February. It's usually like Valentine's Day weekend.
18th, 19th.
Yeah.
Durant might still be out. So.
Yeah, so he could start because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
But he may not be voted in as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think KD's going to play.
Yeah.
So I think Joel will get in because of that. But I don't think if as is, I think he's not going to get more votes than KD.
Yeah. I don't think so either. Too bad.
So
maybe
they still let people vote more than once.
I think there's like a limit to 3 times a day or something like that. Or two
that's
times.
New.
Yeah,
you can only back in the day you can only vote once.
Mm-hmm.
Your email, you had to create an email or all kinds of. There was a lot of them were write-ins too. You had to write in to send it. It was very different.
That's funny. Maybe in a silver lining, maybe if he doesn't start, maybe second half of the season he'll come out guns a-blazing. Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
There's a lot of guys willing, able to start. Man, it's just you can only choose 5 or 10.
It would be hilarious. It'd be hilarious if he ended up winning MVP, but he wasn't a All-Star starter.
I think he'll take that.
Yeah, he'll take it and run.